Life has been a roller coaster this year, not only for me, but for everyone in the family. Everyone was so excited to spend some good time with each other last Thanksgiving, but all turned out a mess. But it wasn't just Thanksgiving that was a mess. 2 weeks from then, Aunt Simone and Jackson got married. Who knew Connor hated Jackson so much? He barged in the door and created a whole scene on the day of the wedding. Aunt Simone was so embarrassed, but I think I saw Grandma smirking in the corner of the room. There's only about a few weeks to Christmas now, and as much as I'm looking forward to it, I've got a strange feeling something will go wrong. Ever since I've gotten home, I've been feeling weird. I've been having nightmares. I always feel like someone is pulling my hair. There's a constant pain in the back of my neck. And worse, I don't remember getting hurt, but there are scars on my body that have no other explanation. Usually, the family gets together on the Christmas holidays at our house. But after last Thanksgiving, Dad was confused whether he wanted to invite Uncle Ben at all. And not inviting Uncle Ben meant Grandma wouldn't come either. And what kind of Christmas would it be if everyone is separated like this? But I've really been having a hard time believing a man like Uncle Ben could do such a thing. It doesn't make sense. And he was trying to say something that day. I should have heard him out. Something didn't fit quite right, so I convinced Dad to invite Uncle Ben over. Ever since Uncle Ben's wife Charlotte died at the beginning of their marriage, he's been all alone. It wouldn't be right to celebrate the holidays without him. I've been going up to the attic recently. These nights have been so restless, it feels worse to lay down and stare at the ceiling than to get up in the middle of the night and actually do something. And anyways, there's quite a lot of old boxes up there, way older than me, back to the time when Dad was about my age. I found something really interesting when I was up there yesterday, a box filled with dresses, hair bows, and girls' shoes. Who did those belong to? Was it Mother's things? She never gave them to me. I did like one of the dresses. I brought it down, maybe I'll wear it this Christmas. The next day, Grandpa finally convinced Grandma to come over to the house. I decided to wear the dress I found and give it a try before the Christmas get-together. It was as soon as I stepped into the living room that everyone was staring at me with big, wide eyes. Grandma stood up and stared at me. She looked like she was going to faint, and within a minute, she did. Grandma lay unconscious on the floor. Everyone went to pick her up while Mother brought me out of the living room. "Hannah, where did you get this dress?" "I found it in the attic." "You look just like her." Mom looked at me in amazement, and then suddenly she began to weep. "Look like who?" "My sister Gemma. She passed away a long time ago, about right after your father and I got married. She used to come over to this house often. That's why some of her things are still here." Hannah's grandmother was taken inside the room where she was left to rest. She scrambled for her phone and dialed up a number. "You have to come to the house as soon as possible. Otherwise, something bad will happen. We have to stop it before everyone finds out." "I'll be there." Connor had come over early this year. I guess everyone was a little impatient to get things back to normal. Connor had been with the family since he was quite young. He was Grandpa's friend's son. When Connor's parents had suddenly passed away, he used to come to this house often. And finally he moved in with the family. "Hey, Connor, you've been living with the family pretty much all your life, right?" "Yes, why?" "Can you tell me something about Mom's sister, Gemma?" Connor had a worried look on his face, and then suddenly started laughing nervously. "Gemma? She was a clever girl. What happened to her? Nobody seems to want to talk about Aunt Gemma. What is it, Connor?" "She suddenly became sick, and she fell into a coma and she never woke from that." Connor behaved as if he was busy and left, leaving Hannah even more curious than ever. That night, I decided to go back to the attic. Maybe I could find some pictures or a clue about Aunt Gemma. But as soon as I walked up the stairs, I saw Connor coming out of the attic. He had a box in his hand. Was it Aunt Gemma's things? I hid behind the wall and followed what Connor was doing. Connor carried the box to Grandma's room. They spoke for a while, and then he left. I checked the attic after that. I was right. He had taken Aunt Gemma's things. What was it with Aunt Gemma? The whole next day, I waited it out for a chance to get that box. When I entered Grandma's room, I found Aunt Gemma's things scattered on the floor. In front of them was a broken mirror. I picked up an album. At last, pictures. I opened it up. They were all pictures of me. Wait, no, this couldn't be me, but it looked just like me. This was Aunt Gemma, with Mother, with Connor, with the whole family. That's why everyone was so shocked to see me in Aunt Gemma's clothes. They thought it was her. Uncle Ben had arrived that morning. He stayed in his room. I didn't know how to talk to him. He seemed very depressed after the Thanksgiving incident. What I needed was answers, and I wasn't going to get answers out of anyone at the house. But I knew one person I could rely on, Aunt Simone. I called her up, and she said she was going to arrive at the house in 3 days. So I decided to wait until she would come so I could show everything to her. When Aunt Simone arrived, I showed her the pictures and asked her about Aunt Gemma. Your mother and your father met each other when they were in high school. She used to come over to this house with her sister Gemma, often. I was a little younger than Gemma, but we still used to hang out together and tease Connor. We used to give Connor a hard time, breaking things around the house and then blaming it on him. Connor was kind enough, he never tattled on me or Gemma. After your parents got married, Gemma used to stay here quite often. It was almost like she lived here. Suddenly, one day she got a very high fever. She couldn't get out of bed anymore. After a few days went like this, one morning she wouldn't get up. But she was still alive. We tried everything, and then we called the doctor. They said she went into a coma. She was in that state for about a month before she passed away. No one knew what triggered the fever, or how Gemma ended up suffering that coma. It was all so sudden. Well, didn't you guys try to find out? Find out what, Hannah? The doctors couldn't say anything. Well, something definitely wasn't right, Aunt Simone. If only you could stop her that day, we wouldn't have to come so far and see all of this happen. The girl wouldn't listen. I can't even bear see Hannah's face. It's a cursed reflection. There's no way anyone will find out. The secret is only with us. She's been lurking in this room. If she continues like this, she will find out everything. Is there any chance she will be able to communicate with Gemma? She can, but she doesn't believe it, so she won't try. Hey Simone, your mother sure has a thing with Hannah, doesn't she? She can't stand her. Did Hannah tell you something? No, I heard Connor and your mother talking about Hannah and this girl, Gemma. Gemma? What about Gemma? Something about Hannah speaking to her? Jackson, Gemma died years ago. How could Hannah speak with Gemma? You must have heard wrong. Aunt Simone became suspicious. The next day, she took me to Grandma's room to find out what was going on. When we entered the room, I showed her the box I found. I stared at the broken mirror while Aunt Simone searched the box. What are you looking at, Hannah? Simone, it's been so long since we used to play together. Simone couldn't understand. What, Hannah? Tell my sister I miss her, and save everyone in this house from your mother and Connor. They have been harming the family from the very start. She killed Ben's wife, and then she killed me. Simone looked at Hannah. She was motionless. She spoke with a straight face, and she didn't respond to Simone's touch. That's when Simone noticed in the mirror. There, in the place of Hannah's reflection, was actually Gemma. Gemma, is that really you? Simone was shaking in fear. Don't be scared, Simone. It's me, Gemma. I'm able to talk to you through Hannah, as we share the same reflection. What happened to you? Connor, what have you done? You stole my spellbook, my charms. Because of you, your parents are no more today. You have murdered them. Why are you yelling at me? Don't you think I know that it was you who got rid of Ben's wife? You killed her with your magic because you were so jealous. It was unfortunate they spotted me. They realized that I had overheard everything. No one will believe me, Gemma. How will I explain this to everyone? Don't worry, Simone. Go to the living room. Behind the cupboard, there is a secret door. Your mother places all her witchcraft items there. Wait until it's dawn, and keep an eye on Connor. He'll enter the room. Expose their secrets to everyone. Do it for me so I can finally rest in peace. Hannah suddenly fell unconscious to the floor, and Simone sat there stunned. When Hannah finally awoke, she was in her room again, and Aunt Simone sat in front of her. Hannah, we have to save this family. We can't let Mother take another life. What just happened? Weren't we in Grandma's room? Gemma spoke to me through you. She told me everything that had happened. She wasn't sick. She was a victim of Mother's hate. And Ben? He's a victim of Mother's love. We lost Charlotte, Ben's wife, because of her. That night, Simone stayed in the living room. At around 4 in the morning, like Gemma had said, Connor came to the living room and moved the cupboard. Simone watched from the corner. There, behind the cupboard, was a secret door, and inside was all those that the two had been hoarding. Crow's feet, potion bottles, witchcraft books, so many hand-sewn dolls, and needles and pins. It was you and Mother all these years. She killed Charlotte and Gemma, and you assisted her. You killed them with her. Hearing the commotion, everyone came out of their rooms and saw all that had happened. Hannah entered the secret room. She brought out a doll that looked just like her. It was placed inside in a box filled with broken pieces of mirror. Hannah picked it up. She noticed the doll had been teared by the glass in the same places where she had scars. You have ruined everything, Connor. Grandma began yelling at Connor. I always took your side all these years, and now you're saying I ruined everything? Mother, it was you? You killed Charlotte? And I thought you loved me. You never loved me. That was the first time I had seen Uncle Ben enraged. He was so red, he looked as if he was going to break down the whole house. Dad went to hold Uncle Ben. Calm down, Ben. You don't believe any of this, do you? Magic isn't real. This has been enough, Lillian. This can't go on. Just then, Grandma held her chest. Choking on her words, she fell to the floor. When the paramedic team arrived, they informed us that Grandma had suffered a severe heart attack and died. And in the midst of all of this, Connor had suddenly gone missing. He was nowhere to be found. Everyone was devastated with all that had just happened. Just a week before Christmas, Grandma passed away. It's time we all get rid of this. Grandpa emptied the room of all the strange items and burnt them in the fireplace. Wait, Father, don't throw that away. Aunt Simone pointed at the doll inside the box of the shattered mirror. She took out all the broken mirror pieces and put them all together. Hannah, what do you see? Thank you, Simone. I've been trapped here for a long time. You saved me. It's time for me to go. Goodbye. Everyone in the room froze in shock. Gemma disappeared from the reflection. The broken mirror turned into ashes, and Hannah fell unconscious. Rest in peace, Gemma. It was a week before Christmas. It was a winter wonderland outside. The house was already decorated with Christmas lights, stockings, and colors of red and white. The house smelled like fresh pine and cinnamon cookies. But everyone was upset after Grandma's death. Grandpa decided we all should visit Oakland Hills again and celebrate Christmas over there this year. We all needed to get out of the house. This mirror is still here? When we were here last, Grandma had warned me about it. Never look into a broken mirror. Hannah stared at the mirror, remembering her late grandma. Suddenly, she saw something in the mirror. What was that? Hannah looked again. There was no one there. It's not over yet. Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. because you know it's interesting.